Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Good morning and happy Friday. So I was going through the news articles here, and I remember one of our community members asking, I don't know, a few videos back, when I did that video about the pigs that were lost in China, and I was saying that even though it happened in China, it's going to affect prices pretty much, everywhere, because they're going to demand more imports of pigs to their country, which is going to take from the supply of other countries that produce pigs. And the community member asked that question. She asked, why is it going to affect prices here in the US? This is happening in China, right? So that was the question. So I saw this article real quick, and it's a really quick article. I'm going to read it, that way you guys can get an understanding here. And it says here, this was published on the 11th, so on Thursday, yesterday. It says, hog futures rally up more than 60% year to date as U.S. exports to China surge. And then it says here, lean hog futures rallied Thursday with a jump in U.S. pork exports to China, contributing to a more than 60% year to date climb in prices, which are near their highest levels since 2014. U.S. Department of Agriculture export sales numbers for hogs released early Thursday were massive, said John Payne, senior broker at Daniels Trading in Chicago. The USDA pegged net U.S. pork sales at 90,700 metric tons for the March 29th to April 4th period, with China buying 77,700 metric tons. Demand from China is surging after African swine fever, a contagious disease that is nearly 100% fatal for domestic and wild pigs, has decimated that country's hog herds. This, the largest number we've seen in a long while, almost 4 times larger than where they opened the week prior, he said in an email comment. News out of China continues to be supportive for pork prices, as it was reported last night through CPI numbers that prices are higher by 5% in the last month. In Thursday dealing, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, the light's getting in my eyes here. In Thursday dealings, lean hogs for June delivery, I don't know what that means, LHM9 plus 0.57%. The most active contract rose 2.2% or 2.3%. 98.68 cents a pound in Chicago after trading as high as 99.45 cents. A settlement above 98.975 cent settlement from April 5 would be the highest since September 18, 2014, based on the most active contracts according to Dow Jones market data. Prices have climbed by more than 11% a month to date. Let's see, it says climbed more than 11% month to date and soared by more than 60% for the year so far. Wow-wee. That's going to affect prices over here, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm trying to get at. Only because there's a catastrophe. Our markets are so globally intertwined now that if there's a catastrophe in a different country, such as with what is happening in China, and their hogs, all right, they're going to end up wanting to get that from somewhere else, all right? So it's going to affect the supply and demand of that product, all right? And of course, we all know that the lesser the supply and the higher the demand, and the higher the prices are. And from what I understand, don't quote me on this, but from what I understand, in China, pork is like a very widely eaten meat. All right, let's continue. Lean hog prices have been very volatile over the last month or so as African swine fever decimates hog herds in China and other Asian nations. Will Ryan, Chief Executive Officer of ETF issuer Granite Shares, told MarketWatch, the lean hogs future contracts has been limited up or down 7 times since March 15th, with 5 of those 7 times limit up. China is the largest global consumer of pork, producing and consuming about half of all pork in the world, he said. As a result of the swine fever epidemic, it has culled a very large number of hogs, depleting its supply and necessitating imports. Lean hog prices have reacted accordingly. All right. Oh, it's not that much more. Let's go ahead and finish it off. Ryan said he believes that latest weekly pork purchases by China is a record. The purchase comes despite China's hefty tariffs on imports of the commodity from the U.S. So far this year, the U.S. has shipped 46.4 metric tons of pork to China versus 15.6 this time last year. Wow, that's 3 times. That's almost a 3, times what we did last year. Let's see. China has orders for another 96.5 metric tons versus 4.9 last year. Wow. What is important is the hog population cannot expand immediately to meet that demand, he said. It takes 114 days or almost 4 months for a sow to give birth to a piglet, and then the piglet has to be fattened. With the African swine fever in China, a major problem, Chinese demand is pushing U.S. prices up. And that's the key of this whole article right here, ladies and gentlemen. Or maybe not the key, because not everyone that listens to this channel is from the U.S., but it's going to affect everyone. I think it's going to be an effect worldwide as far as pork prices go, and eventually also other meats, other cheaper meats than pork, which there aren't really many other cheaper meats than pork. All right. With no cure available for ASF, which is the African swine fever, I believe, Chinese demand for U.S. pork could be huge, Schmidt said. And to raise a hog, one has to be fed grains. So demand for grains will also expand. And the other things that grains are used for, all right, since the demand for grains will expand, then the price of grains is going to go up. And then the other variety of items that grains are used for in producing food for people in the U.S. is also going to go up. So it's just kind of like a domino. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got something out of this. I just saw this article and I thought it was interesting. I thought about our community members' question that day about how will it affect prices in the U.S. if this is happening in China. So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting ready for work right now. I hope you guys have a great Friday. All right, so happy Friday to all of you. We'll talk to you guys later on. Remember, on Sunday, all right, 8 o'clock a.m. Alaska time for our live chat premiere. Hope to see you guys there. Having said that, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.